What is going on, folks? Welcome to the first video in season 2 of the Daily Cadence series. I'm going to call this one Pursuit of the Podium because I have been thinking a lot about my goals for Morro Bay. And last year, at the end of the year at La Quinta, I went 4 hours and 45 minutes, which in a non-river swim, that was the fastest I have ever gone. Previously, before getting injured and having surgery on my pubic symphysis, I did go 440 in Oregon, but that is a downriver swim, so I don't count that as my PR or my fastest 70.3. So I'm stating it here that my goal for 70.3 Morro Bay, which is 12 weeks away, is to go sub 440. Actually, I'm really targeting 438. I looked at last year's results, and to get on the podium, which you never know who's going to show up to a race, you can't really depend on this, but last year, 5th place was a 438. And I am targeting getting in that top 5 spot. I've been able to qualify for 2 Ironman 70.3 World Championships. I've met my goal of going 445. So while qualifying for 70.3 World Championships is a goal, it's not my number one focus. I want to move beyond that. And I really want to break that top 5 spot, which in an Ironman event puts you in what they would say is the podium. So that is why I'm calling this my pursuit of the podium. Today is Thursday and I'm about to hop on the bike for a ride. So far, my training this week has been going really well. I'm at 8 hours so far, 3 days into training. On Monday, I hit the pool like I always do for 3,800 yards. Right after that, I jumped out. I did an hour and 15-minute bike. And then later in the evening, I did a 50-minute run, and my legs are feeling good. This week, I actually started to run outdoors. That day, specifically on Monday, I did 30 minutes on the treadmill, and then I hopped outside after my legs were warmed up, and then I did 20 minutes on the road. On Tuesday, I swam again. One of my goals over this next 12 weeks is to increase my swimming volume. So far in an Ironman 70.3, I have not been able to break the 30-minute swim. A couple of years ago, I swam 30:01 at Santa Cruz, and I really want to get into that sub 30 swim. So I'm upping my volume. Tuesday, I did a huge set, 6,000 yards, 12 by 500, rotating no gear, fins, paddles, buoy, no gear again, all the way up to 6,000 yards. And that felt really good, actually. My arms were not that tired. Took me 90 minutes, and I was really quite happy. That's my longest swim of the year so far. Later that day, I jumped on the bike and hit a 90-minute ride, nice and easy, spinning out the legs, nothing too crazy. And then yesterday, I was back at the pool. My arms were certainly tired. I started to feel my arms were pretty worn out about 2,000 yards in. Ended up doing 3,300 meters. Then last night was track night, which was my real test of running outdoors, no support, doing some speed work. I went into that not really knowing what I would be able to run. Figured I'd go out, kind of see what Tony threw out there for me to run, and ended up feeling really good. My workout was 12 by 400s. All right, it is track workout Wednesdays. Tonight, we had a 1 mile warm up. Main set, 12 by 400. First couple run at 131, so 6:04 pace. 9 more to go.
My mind run deep in my thoughts when I didn't have it. Sleeping on the floor, wishing it was a mattress. Now I'm in Hollywood with actors and actresses, where everybody bougie, latest trends and fashions. I'd rather keep it a buck, 100 if you ask me. I was trying to pay the bills just like last week. I was trying to sell a deal just like last week. Trying to run plays and run it up like the mathletes. It's in my DNA to have hope and make a way. Good energy will hit that MJ fade away. Miss me with the hate and now, bruh, not today. Stayed in my lane, didn't complain, this was meant for me. Whatever come my way, this was meant for me. Trying to share my story, this is history. Now it's not a mystery. Stop without a hating, dog, man, this is meant for me. Whatever come my way, this was meant for me.
The workout was 12 by 400, which is 3 miles, but after every 400 fast, you do a 400 easy between a 9-10 minute mile jog. Then you pick it right back up for a total of 6 miles. Legs felt really good. The calf felt really, really good, surprisingly. Then kicked it off. The goal was running around a 1:30, which is a 6-minute mile. The first one was a 1:39, definitely was still warming up. Second one, a 1:34. Third one, 1:31, 1:30, 1:28, 1:28, 1:30, 1:27, 1:29, 1:27, 1:27. And the last one, fast one, was a 1:24. So a lot of those were sub 6-minute mile pace. And I was really happy coming off of that. Today, my legs, they feel a little tired today, a little sore, but nothing too bad. So I'm really happy with that. And I won't run today. Right now, I'm kind of still following a 2 on, 1 off. And after track, I'm just going to take it easy, just going to ride and not run. Early this week, I posted a picture of my journal or my notebook and asking if people actually write down or log or journal to get a feeling for how many people do it. And it was pretty low, maybe 15 to 20% maximum keep a written journal. Yes, we have our phones and we have Strava and you have Training Peaks and all of those things that are digitally doing it somewhat automatically. What I have found is if I take the time to actually write down notes about the day, some of my to-dos, things I need to do to check off, it keeps me on track. I put down my intervals because what's cool is I can look back really easy and actually enjoy looking back. Sometimes I'll take a picture that I posted and print it out and then put it in here because ultimately what is great about this is being able to look back at it and just see how you were feeling. I love quotes. Usually I will look up a quote every single day and I will include that in my book and just general feelings, what my nutrition was, how I felt after the workout, all those types of things. Because Strava, I never go back and review Strava. I very rarely go back and look at Instagram, old posts, but these notebooks, I really love having them. I almost find it therapeutic to sit there, write it out. It ingrains it in my head much more than just automatically uploading to Strava, throwing a picture up there, maybe a couple of comments. So if you don't use a notebook, I would recommend trying it out. That's it for now. I'm going to jump on the bike, but later on, I want to talk a little bit about training like a pro triathlete and the mindset that goes into that. That doesn't just mean volume. It means a lot of things. And that's really the mindset I am trying to have going into this season. Not just training a ton of volume, not just smashing workouts. It's not just that. There is so much more to it. When you think about sleep, when you think about recovery, when you think about nutrition, all of these things, the details that go into training like a pro athlete. Well, in no particular order, let's talk about some of these elements, some of these pieces that I feel are key to training with a pro mindset. The first one, since I'm on the bike now for a long 2-hour ride, let's talk about fueling. And specifically, I'm talking to the athlete that wants to lose weight. I am in the mode of cutting. I would like to drop 10 more pounds and get right down to 179, 178, 180, somewhere in there, just below 180 going into Morro Bay. It's about a pound a week from here until there. I have confidence that I will be able to do it. I tend to, over my off season, gain about 10 pounds. It's very easy for me to put on 10 pounds when I slow my training down, when I eat obviously above maintenance calories, but I enjoy myself. So now I'm in the mode of cutting fat, but not at the expense of my training or my recovery. And that's where that very fine line is. I don't believe a lot of pro triathletes are in this mode of needing to cut weight. Many of them are burning so many calories they can eat a ton of foods. You watch Trevor Foley or Ari or Lionel. But for me, I'm 47 years old. I train anywhere from 2 hours to 3 hours a day. So I need to dial that in. But one of the things I've always struggled with is fueling during my workouts, because I feel like if I'm taking those calories in, it's calories I'm not going to get later. But what I've learned over time is that if I am skimping on my training fuel. Once, if it's a long workout, you might sacrifice your intensity. You're going to sacrifice your recovery because you're not fueling yourself up. But the other big thing for me is if I don't fuel, what I have found is taking in carbohydrates while I train actually makes me less hungry later in the day. I get in that mode where if I skimp on calories during training, somehow I eat all day long and I am very, very hungry all day long. Towards the end of the day, I'm on that verge of binging on a pack of Girl Scout cookies or whatever it is. So for me, learning that if I fuel properly, if I'm taking in at least 100 calories per hour while I'm on the bike, while I'm swimming, while I'm running, if I'm taking that in, either through the Targo is what I use for my carb powder, or gels, if I am doing that, while that is eating away at my total calories for the day, I actually come out of the workout feeling better, I recover quicker, and later in the day, I'm not starving. All right, well, that was 2 hours on the bike. Felt really good. Nice, easy endurance ride around 150 watts. Just spinning the legs out really from yesterday. I am continuing to try and do lots of easy workouts on the bike. When I did the inside test with John from Area 3, I had lots of power or short burst power, more like sprinting power, which is good if you're doing sprints. But Ironman 70.3 are not sprints. I need to change my body, adapt my body into a more long endurance, more efficient long endurance athlete, which requires more easy training, long training sessions at a very easy pace. But now I gotta get something to eat and get to work. All right, well, I'm taking a little break from work and putting together a sandwich. I am continuing to cut right now. And while I talked about nutrition on the bike and properly fueling, that is not where you want to cut corners. Where you want to cut calories out of your diet. And I feel like a lot of pro athletes are very careful with what they are eating. Yes, some of them are really young and they can just eat whatever they want. You look at a guy like Lionel, you look at a guy like Ari, or even Trevor Foley, they're consuming a ton of calories, but they're training way more than we are. They're burning way more, and they're not looking to cut like I am. So for me, I have found that 2,800 calories is that sweet spot. If I can consume 2,800 calories, and that includes workout calories when I'm working less than 2 hours a day. If I am working out over 2 hours, then I don't count the calories I consume on the bike, and I eat 2,800 calories without tracking my workout calories. And this is something you have to play with. I found 2,800 calories works really well for me to drop about a pound or so a week. But as I get lower and lower, when I get down to that 179, 178, it does start to slow. So at that point, I need to figure out, okay, do I want to go lower? And if I do, I might have to cut a little bit further. But at what point do I start to see sacrifices in my performance and how I'm feeling? 178 is pretty light for me. I don't really feel like I'll get much lighter than that. All right, well, the workday is done, and I am doing an evening podcast tonight with Tony and Austin. I actually forgot about our OCE podcast recording this morning because I was on the bike, and the guys were calling me, and so I totally spaced on it. I did not put it in my calendar, so we're going to record that tonight. But I was just doing some mobility work, some stretching, and I wanted to talk about that as being that third thing. If you're going to train like a pro triathlete, the third thing is for today, and then I'll do a couple more tomorrow because after this I will be going to bed, but is focusing on your recovery, treating it like the fourth sport. It's so easy to do our running, our riding, our swimming, all of those things, maybe even strength training, but taking the time, the tedious time, which is something that I am really focused on this year, and that's foam rolling, using the pulsating massage gun, getting in for regular adjustments and ART. I've actually been doing the hyperbaric chamber tomorrow afternoon. I will actually be going into the hyperbaric chamber tomorrow for an hour and just spending the time every single day, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes, spending the time to get down on the ground, do some stretching, do some foam rolling, do all of the stuff that is so easily ignored. And the older I get, the more important it becomes. So that is tip number 3. So I'm going to knock this out. I am done with videoing tonight, and I will see you guys in the morning. Welcome to the OC Endurance Podcast. Just had to remember what I was talking about here all of a sudden. I was like, OC, what do we call this thing? The OC Endurance Podcast, episode number 40. I know what episode we're on. You know, I'm doing bad. First, I missed our recording this morning, so left these guys hanging. And apparently I was 15 minutes late tonight. They're ready to throw me off the show, but they need somebody to introduce the show every week.
Tony and I recorded an extra secret podcast just in case this doesn't work out.
That's right.
You really should. I'm telling you. How you guys doing?